Let me change my mic.
It might just be me though. I don't know.
How about?
That sounds better. That sounds more crisp.
Yep, that microphone. All right, welcome in everybody. We are here. Week 6 is in the books. We're here doing a reaction episode. Had some big games this weekend. Two very telling games that I'm sure we're gonna get into. Bama, Vandy, and then you had the which we called it the Florida Texas debacle that went down there in Gainesville just now. And it's some points I want to make in that game that Sean alluded to what you were talking about, Sean. How somebody came in and played for a couple snaps, team looked a lot better, and then they put the other guy back in. But we'll get into that. But either way, hey, give me y'all's feedback. How are y'all feeling after what y'all saw from Bama taking on Vandy on the road and all that mess that Diego brought in there? And side note, did y'all see Johnny Manziel was there on the sideline too?
Man, hey, Johnny gotta go. First of all, I'm gonna get my little 2 cents in real quick, Sean.
Go for it, man. You do your thing.
Deep into it. Look, it's been a long-awaited moment. I need a revenge on something in my life, and it's been Vanderbilt. It's got to be Vanderbilt tonight, man. Look, I ain't even worn paraphernalia on here in a minute. I got Bama back rocking on the podcast. Look, talking about the game specifically, I thought it worked out exactly how I thought this Bama game would work out. I thought that Hailing the board in the media of this football game say, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to go down here and show Vanderbilt who we are this season after the Florida State loss. And drove down the field, got the perfect drive on until they went for the fourth down and they threw the pick. And I'm like, you know what? Throwing the pick to me was just kind of like a settling type of moment into the game for the offensive side. Now, when the defense got on the field, I was like, you know what? I'm thinking like everybody else probably understands. Everybody else probably watching the game. It's about to be a long day for Alabama's defense because Alabama's defense did not seem like they had it together in that first half, first quarter, first couple of possessions. It looked like the exact replica of what Florida State was. Too much misdirection is throwing this team off, and they missing gaps, they missing tackles, they missing assignments, and we got penalties pushing us back, holding us back, and things like that. So I give Vanderbilt their full credit. I saw a lot of clips after the game of half the team giving respect, half the team talking trash. I give respect to Vanderbilt. They gave everything they possibly could in that game. But to me, for the one thing we really got to dive into, I think this might have been one of the first, second, or third time in Debo's run with Alabama where his halftime adjustments were pinpoint accurate and changed the game. Because the way we looked in the first half on defense, I was like, if we played it all game, it's going to be a shootout. And I felt like Ty Simpson can handle a shootout because of the way Vandy's defense looked. But I didn't think our defense can handle a shootout because I thought they would get too gassed. So I think that the offense came in the second half, handled the balance of the game clock where we didn't get down in game possession. We didn't get down in too many penalties. We didn't get down in things that I said that if Vandy needed these things to go right in their favor to win this game, we didn't give it to them in the second half. And I thought that was a true test of what Bama is. And I'm back on the bandwagon for true Bama hype. Now, what does that look like? I'm only talking SEC championship at this point. But what I saw in that game versus Vandy was true team being truly tested and responding in the correct ways, man. What you got for us, Sean?
Yeah, I was nervous early. I was nervous before the game. I was expecting a win, but I was also expecting a close game. The game pretty much did what I thought it was supposed to do. I figured Bama would win the game for a number of reasons, but it was really telling when the announcers made the comment. I think the announcers were pointing on this game too. A lot of times you're watching Bama play, the announcers are just way off on certain things. But Vanderbilt was a better team than they were last year, but I also think Alabama is a better team than they were last year. My son asked me if Jalen Milroe was in the game this weekend, would the outcome been the same? No, it would not have been the same. What we're looking at in Alabama is exactly what Kalen DeBoer wants to do. I was really impressed with the running game. We've been talking about the fact that we hadn't been running the ball. Jam Miller looked like a grown man. Yes. And it's the offensive line has been good all year. Like I was talking to a buddy of mine that played offensive line in high school. I'm like, okay, if you're a good offensive line and pass protection, does that necessarily mean that you're automatically a good offensive line in run blocking? He said no. He said no, it doesn't necessarily mean that. He said, but what it does mean is it's an offensive line that if you're good in pass pro, you're really good at communicating. You actually have something. And one thing I noticed about Ty Simpson early, not Florida State, but after the Florida State game, this man has had time. He's had time to throw the football. He's had more time than most to throw the football. And he looks really good doing it, but it's partly because of that time. So if we end up with a running game moving forward, that's really going to help us, because Kalen DeBoer came out with a game plan very similar to Vanderbilt's game plan. He said, hey, we both want to control the ball. Kalen DeBoer knew if he was going to control the ball, he was going to have to run the ball. And he did that. I was impressed. I was extremely impressed. I'm very impressed in Ryan Grubb and the way that he's using basically every doggone player on the field. I'm seeing receivers catch the ball. I don't even know who they are. And I mean, they're loaded. They're loaded. And then you bring the Proctor kid in to do damage whenever you feel like he can be effective. It just seems like right now, Ryan Grubb is everything he's dialing up is working. And this is the third week that he's had an opportunity to prepare for someone that's not named Florida State. I'm telling you right now, I don't necessarily know if I was a defensive coordinator from Missouri, I don't necessarily know what I would be trying to attack on defense as a defensive coordinator, right? Because it looks like Bama can beat you in a lot of ways now. I'm still holding a little bit of judgment, but Vanderbilt's a good team. Alabama beat a really good football team this weekend.
Yeah.
They beat a really good football team last weekend, and they're going to play a really good football team this weekend. So let's just see if the train continues. But I like the adjustments, like you said, Drew. It looked like a completely different team. I'm still a little concerned on the fact that we came out and let them gash us like they did in the run game. I'm like, it's almost like we're not quite. We feel like we may be better than we think we are on the defensive front, right? But every time someone gashes us, it forces us to realize that either we're not that good, or we're not coached that good, or we're just not doing what we're supposed to do. One of them three things are happening. I think all three you could actually fix because you did it in the second half. So let's just start that way against Missouri and see what happens when we put a complete game together. And I think you might have an Alabama squad that might be the cream of the crop in the SEC. Now, I don't think that the SEC is getting deeper. I don't think we're as good at the top as we have been in years past. Okay. Mm-hmm. If Alabama's the best team in the SEC right now, I think the Big Ten has a clear edge as far as the conference is concerned in regards to the better teams at the top of the totem pole. But I like what the SEC is doing. The depth is great. Alabama needs to be a top school in the Southeastern Conference, and they're looking like that today. I love what I saw. Still got a few things to clean up, but at the end of the day, I think it was a really, really, really good performance overall by the team.
Yeah, for sure. And from going into this game, a lot of people were saying it was going to be kind of even as far as what the teams wanted to do. And Sean, you mentioned it also about controlling the time of possession in this game and who was going to get it. And we talked about it on our last live about what Vandy wanted to do with the ball. And it's exactly how the game started. Eat their way down the field. And then the only concerning part that came at the beginning, and Sean, you texted during the game when it happened, was the gashes around along the right side of the defensive line, just the long runs, giving up explosive plays. But other than that, you were able to hold them and contain them down and put them in, make Diego Pavia pass the ball to beat you situations. And whenever he would start to run or scramble, you saw the defense had a mindset of, hey, we got a chaser, but also we've got a linebacker that's going to follow along with you and keep you level on the side of the field. We're saying, hey, we're not going to let you get north and south. And if you do dare to go north and south, we're going to punish you for it. It was one of those hits, I think, in the first of second quarter that I think he got his feet wrapped and then somebody else came and hit him up top or whatnot, so on and so forth. But you kind of saw the look on his face like, oh, well, hold on, they hitting me today, type of plays. But you look at time of possession, Bama had the ball for 37 minutes versus Vandy's 22 minutes. the passing yards, the penalties. You know, Bam only had 3 penalties in the ball game versus Vanderbilt's 5. Vandy doesn't usually penalize themselves or hold themselves back in ball games. And so you look at little stuff like that, and it tells a story as of Bama's looking like the team, not of old, but that a team that's finally understanding what they want to do and be this season. And got the coaches are getting behind that, and now the players are following suit also. And you can chalk up the Jam Miller rushing. I mean, you had a fantastic day running the ball, 22 carries for 136 yards. That's what you want. And maybe it just took him getting back from that injury and getting more comfortable, along with getting the O-line comfortable with blocking for him and the style of play he wants to run. To get involved. And if you've got a good running back and a good running game going forward, along with Ty Simpson playing as good as he is, I dare to say the sky's the limit right now for anything going forward. Now, it's still, we're only a quarter of the way through the season, so who knows what's coming down the road. But it just looks like, and I was happy to see it, but I told myself before the game, at the beginning of the ball game, Vandy's gonna want to go down the field and go score first, and they did. What was the response gonna be? You know, they go down, they score, you go down and you throw the interception. Now all the momentum is left your sideline, and this is what we talked about and what I brought up. As far as coaching, how prepared do you have your team to face that type of adversity again? Does everybody seep back into the gut punch like Florida State is saying, "Oh, snap, what happened? Where are we at?" Or are we going to bulk up and realize, hey, we are the better team, which I still believe Bama is the more talented and better team in this ball game. But the response is what got me, because okay, cool, they scored. Okay, cool, we threw an interception. Let's go get a stop and go get the ball back. And that's exactly what happened. And like you said, Drew, the second half, the whole Vandy, the scoreless in the second half, it looked like a tale of two different teams in this ball game. Vandy looked like they had confidence. They looked like, hey, we right where we want to be in the ball game. You know, it's 14-14 going to half. And in the second half, shell shock. Bama came out and just enforced their will. Say, hey, we not gonna let you do anything. We don't care where you go. We don't care what your game plan is. We enforcing it. We gonna tie everything down, and then we just gonna go to work on offense and do what we got to do to go get this ball game done. But this is a very, very, very big stepping stone, not only gameplay wise, but mental and emotionally in any other ball game going forward to know that, hey, we can get gut punched and be able to bounce back and say, hey, we're just gonna go back and go to work and go win a ball game. So I think there's a lot to build off of in this type of win, along with the magnitude and the odds that were on this team during this win.
Yeah. And I think the magnitude of the odds is one thing that makes it more interesting and more surprising to me, is because it wasn't one of those games where it was like, all right, cool, y'all got Vanderbilt and it's a 3:30 game that's not really mainstream. Everybody was keyed in on this game, and it had to really do more about Vanderbilt than it did about Bama being in this game. But it was more like, Bama, you got to take care of business in this game, even though it is at home. And I think there are a lot of question marks even coming from this game about Bama's offense, because I thought in this game, it's probably the last game. I'm not really too keen on Missouri. Missouri might have a defense that we can move the ball on easily, but I thought this might be the last opportunity that Bama's going to have a defense that we can just move the ball on freely. And just say what we can do, we got to do offensively. And it wasn't to the point where it was like 1,000, above order type of impressed offensive performance. We had offensive possessions that really were key and really were important, and response off of bad offensive possessions to good offensive possessions, something I want to see. But I want to know what we're going to do like against LSU type defense. That all game long, they're going to have guys all over the field that are going to match you guy for guy. Can you still run the ball for this type of offense? Can you still pass the ball successfully? Can you still be the less penalized team? Like, we haven't seen that yet. So I think we're going to have 2 more big tests before we get into that type of matchup. But Missouri and Tennessee both are going to be really, really good football games. And this team is going to get tried. This month, and they're going to go through these next 4 weeks. If they can get through that, they got all my bearings on what they could do in the end of the season, postseason type thing. But this team that I saw Saturday is a team we're going to have to build upon to really be successful. And I think that's something that's going to come with time.
And look, look, I agree with you 1,000%. One thing that the announcers started to kind of talk about in regards to Ty Simpson and the receivers for Alabama is the fact if you look at the passes that Ty Simpson is completing, he's actually completing. He's got the right amount of high percentage passes, meaning you know what I'm saying you got 4 wide outs,
Right.
the defense is in zone. You recognize the defense is in zone. You know, he's a good enough quarterback, and the receivers are good enough to be able to feel the coverage and get open in holes and things of this nature. I wish more teams did that because you can get 4, 5, 6 yards every play if you're throwing the ball like that. That's Bama's kind of new run game, I guess, if you will, and it's working, and that's very hard to stop. And you really don't want to put yourself in a position to play man when they got that many receivers out there, because in college football, you may have a number 1 corner. Your number 2 corner might be pretty good too, but when you get the 3rd and your 4th corner,
right,
in college, you don't really have the depth there, so you kind of have to play zone. So, and I'm talking kind of technical here, but it's one thing Ryan Grubb is doing a really good job of is recognizing when you're or helping Ty Simpson understand when he's in zone and when he's not. But he's always got receivers lined up kind of crazy, kind of all over the place, and it's going to be difficult to figure out. But my point was the dig routes. The dig route is one of the most difficult combinations for a quarterback and a receiver to connect on, just because one, you don't know how far you need to run a dig, and when you do make your cut as a receiver, you're cutting past a linebacker. These are windows. These are windows, and Ty Simpson is hitting receivers on time, right, in motion on dig routes. You don't see this in college a lot. You really don't. What he's doing, and they hadn't figured it out yet. After the Florida State game, they started doing this shit. And every team that they play, Ty Simpson with time is completing dig routes like there's no coming back. What that opens up, it opens up post corners, it opens up posts. I got a feeling that there's more to come with this offense. You just can't be completing dig routes like he's doing like that. It's happening on the left side and the right side. I'm just saying, I think the offense is going to become even more prolific if he continues to have time. This is dangerous. We're coming into dangerous territory with this offense.
Yeah, they mentioned it during the game.
Real quick point. I want to make one quick point off of that, man. A lot of last year, the same amount of time, I think coming off the Georgia game, we saw the potential of what this offense could be. Mm-hmm. We saw a quarterback who couldn't get them there.
Yeah.
Right.
It was like, all right, cool. We saw that for the rest of the season, a quarterback that couldn't get them there. I truly have to believe in what you're saying, because now I do see a quarterback that can get us there, because he's not. I think the first interception was a true, like, a demand type. You got to throw this type ball.
Yeah.
I don't think it was something that's going to be a trend of him throwing interceptions. Like, it's not like I just get scared and I throw a ball in the double coverage and, it's an interception. Like, he's like, it was more of a strategic interception than anything in that type of moment. But, man, we got a quarterback that I think I can really believe in. I haven't said that since Nine's been on the field. And that's been a couple years. So,
been a minute.
Yeah, it's been interesting.
Yeah. And what I was going to say is, Sean, I think they alluded to it during the game as far as those passes. He's the highest rated quarterback when it comes to passes more than 15 yards down the field, in the middle of the field, between the hashes.
Correct.
So to that point is about timing. It's about knowing your personnel. It's about in the mindset and the ability to see and know when to let the ball go over the middle of the field for it to be a completion, for that window to be there.
Yeah.
Another thing that I thought was interesting in this game, it was flashes. It wasn't consistent, but it, I guess, showed maybe promise going forward as far as Ryan Williams' play in this ball game. He had some plays that was more so, and they said it during the game also, and it made a lot of sense, where he seems like he got the hype last year, and it seems like when you get in those modes where you're trying to force yourself to make the big plays, whereas you're trying to catch it and then, I got to go score, or I'm trying to think about what I'm doing before I catch the ball, and it ends up being a drop and whatnot. But you saw moments of that in this game where you had a couple of drops where it was like, okay, what are we doing? But also you saw some of those in rhythm catches where it was like, hey, you just let the talent take over. Let me just go catch the ball, and whatever happens after the play happens, type of stuff. So getting him and Bernard going at the same time could be absolutely deadly. If they have another game like they had on Saturday, you're talking about a deadly combination with Ty Simpson playing as well as he is and getting Jam Miller playing, running the ball as well as he did in this game against a very good Vanderbilt defense. I give them credit. But
And
to
look,
do all of that against a team like this, I know it's at home. You needed that. You needed the environment. Build off of it by all means. But if you get all three or all four going at the same time and they all get to clicking going forward, you talk about something dangerous.
And the fourth one is that daggum tight end.
Yeah.
He loves that tight end, and he's freaking productive.
Yeah.
And Ty Simpson looks for him. So if you're a defensive coordinator and you know he's looking for the tight end too, and he got all this action going on the outside and these D's coming on the inside, what the hell you gonna do?
Well, I think it's an actual representation of what we saw preseason of Bama being one of the top 3 most talented teams in the country.
Right.
Yep.
It's kind of more just like Ty Simpson has a plethora of guys at his disposal to get the ball to, and it's not like you got to be like a Tua where you got to be so accurate on your pinpoint, or like Bryce Young where you got to just outsmart the defense and you smart everybody else out there. It's more like a Mac Jones. You got to just be a distributor.
Right.
You just got to get the ball to these guys, and if y'all say 4 being the tight ends, the 4th guy, we could really go 6. Because we got the freshman that's number 17. I didn't even got a chance to learn the guy's name yet. He's the dog. And then we saw a new guy, number 11, this weekend. That's more of like a sub type situation. So this team is extremely deep on offense.
Right.
2 biggest things that's going to hurt this team in the future that could pop up: injuries on the O-line. And then outside of that, we got overall, what to think about? I forgot what I was going to say. Penalties. Yeah, penalties. We think about injuries on the O-line and penalties. Those are 2 things that, in the aspect of what we've seen recently in Kalen DeBoer's career, can derail him in the coaching aspect. You can't do anything about penalties. I mean, I can't do anything about injuries, but penalties are something that derails your team more than anything. Winning the penalty matchup in this game, I thought was something that Bama was not going to do.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool. To me, this game was important, but it was like, all right, cool. To me, it was more of a discipline show than aspects of like, we just got to be the best team possible in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's something that was important. So I think what's going forward, the sky is the limit, as Vince. I think it's something that you really got to believe in.
For sure. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. And so when you look at Bama, and just not to peek too far ahead, but you got a Missouri team, and we'll cover it later this week.
That's me.
When we do our reviews for this upcoming week. But you got to go on the road. Can you carry this performance to go on the road against a Missouri team who likes to stop the run? That's one thing they're strong at, but their secondary is weak. They got a weak secondary. You talk about some of the quarterbacks that have gone in there and had big rush passing yards. Kansas has done it. Lenore Sellers has done it. The other competitions they played hadn't been to anybody. And going up against a team who hadn't played a road game all year, so they hadn't left the state of Missouri yet once this season. You got that to get you ready. And then you got Tennessee, South Carolina on the road, LSU, Oklahoma. You look at this stuff going down the map, and for sure, this is something to pick your head up right after Georgia. You didn't let the high kind of inflate you too much. You held serve like we talked about. Every game has to be that approach going forward. And if you do that, I'm telling you, you're going to be putting yourself up into a prime position to go ahead and take the lead in this SEC, depending on how some of these other teams look on this schedule. So, like I said, it's going to be real.
Speaking to the schedule, it's more just a test to can Bama beat themselves in every game.
Yeah,
can well disciplined, well coached in every game. Because I think each one of the teams that you just said have a tendency of shooting themselves in the foot.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can beat Missouri just because I don't think Missouri is that truly tested yet. Yeah. LSU, to me, we get a couple turnovers in that game, it changes the tide. So to me, I think going to South Carolina, Oklahoma type situation, we just really got to just at that point be more formative than these other teams because they haven't proved to me, like Sean said, there's no cream of the crop at the top yet.
Not yet. We got some good teams. Ain't nobody great yet in my eyes.
Yeah. All right. So we got another eye opener game right now. Is there an Arch Manning problem going on in Texas as of right now? They go to the swamp and we called it.
Yeah.
That game Florida's just having I'm talking about. We had it on the second screen up at the lake we were hanging out at on Saturday, and I'm talking. You glance over to just watch a couple of plays back and forth, and on offense and on defense, Florida just whatever they wanted to do, they did it. Texas O line looked abysmal. I'm talking about pressure all over Arch for a lot of the game. At the same time as that, when Arch had time and he had open guys down the field, he just hesitates on throwing it. It's become more of a mental thing now, I think, to him than anything else, where he's just not trusting what he's seeing out there on the field or not believing in his weapons he's got out there. But I'm talking about the whole second half, you just pick, sack, so on and so forth, this and that, and this, and then you just see Florida run away. I mean, it was closer than it looked. And at the same time, they had I forgot who the backup, I forget his name, came in for a couple plays in the fourth quarter, and it's almost like you saw the team spark a little bit around him. You know, our personnel, some guys would play harder for other guys than the other ones. You saw kind of that, not momentum, but emotionally build off of the rest of the team, and then they put Arch back in there. And I think it's a situation where no matter what you do right now, you're tied to Arch. Unless he leaves, you can't bench him. You cannot go on the road of saying, hey, we're going to bench him without it being an injury. But you've already come out publicly and said he don't got no injury. Right. So you've tied your hands down to this, and going to Florida and losing to this Florida team. I'm not even going to say it's nothing crazy, but to this Florida team, get ready to get. I still think Napier's on his way out, but to go down there and lose to this team the way that they did, because even the score is close or a one possession game or so on and so forth, but to watch the game and see how the game played out, Texas is in trouble. You about to drop some games going forward, and you got to go play Oklahoma. I'm telling you right now, this is a quick peek. Don't go down here to the Red River Rivalry down at the fairgrounds in Dallas and let Oklahoma beat you with a backup quarterback in Michael Hawkins next weekend. Don't let that happen.
Ain't no scrub, though. Ain't no scrub.
I'm telling you right now, don't, because that Oklahoma defense is flying around more than Florida's defense is. They playing the real deal ball right now.
I really hate that you even stated it like that, because there's no way Texas is gonna win that game.
You think so?
Right. There's no way in hell Texas win that game. And I think I've seen enough. I can let the country speak for themselves this week. I'll let Sean speak for himself in a couple seconds. I've seen enough. You gotta go. It's gonna be to be so serious. Dan Orlovsky said something a couple years ago about Mac Jones being in the San Francisco offense and saying that if San Francisco drafted Mac Jones, he would be the same type of quarterback as Brock Purdy. It's one of those clips where you look back at years later, you say, dang, you was right.
Yep.
If Shark don't bench Arch Manning, Shark's going to be out of Texas. He's not going to survive the Arch Manning process. He's not. Unless there's like a total 180, and I don't see that happening. He's done for. He's done for. And I think Saturday just proved it. It was an opportunity to really show you can win in an SEC game, and you failed. Big time.
Yeah, Texas has they have a big problem. I was I lived in Austin for 8 years, and I'm trying to figure out, scratching my head while I was going back and forth watching this game, to why they can't get it right. And I think it's everything for Texas right now. Like the O-line can't block.
Yep.
They can't run block. They can't pass block. The secondary is getting burned. It's everything, and you just ask yourself, how can it be this bad? This is Texas. Okay. So, and this is what I was thinking about this morning. I was like, why? You would have thought that when the NCAA allowed for pay to play occur, you thought Texas would have absolutely been that school, or Texas A&M, one of them two. Because they just receive so much revenue. The campuses are so big. The alumni base is so big. They have so many billionaires and millionaires that have graduated from their schools. And, but I think the problem is same thing Kirby Smart's dealing with right now. And I know we're talking about Texas, but I think this is a problem for those coaches that are at big schools that we as the betting public feel like because you're at a big school, you should have a competitive advantage. Those days are gone.
Yeah.
Those days are gone. You have to be a really good evaluator of talent as a coach. I'm not saying Sark is not, right? But you got to be a really good evaluator of talent. And I think you almost have to look at what Lane Kiffin did with with a quarterback that's actually producing right now.
Yeah.
And he came from Division II. When I said you got to become a really good developer of talent, you got to know what it is you want to do with your scheme. You got to hire coaches that also agree that you can manage properly, that respect you as the head coach. I'm not saying Sark ain't got this, right? Read between the lines. You just really, everything needs to work nowadays in order for you to have a good team. Why does Texas Tech look as good as they do? Why does Texas Tech look like they could possibly beat Texas? NIL. NIL is the reason why Texas Tech appears like they look better than Texas right now. And I think this is where the Dabo Sweeneys of the world, by his own admission, has missed the boat. And I'm not saying Sark is not gravitating toward these things. What I'm saying is Texas has been seeking out a national championship since they won one with Mac Brown back before Bama beat them in 2008. Texas has been set up as an institution, as an enterprise that when it was not legal to pay players, when they were paying players, they should have had the best players. Now it's legal to do it. You can't win. I remember this. Adrian said this to Rocky in Rocky 4 when he was about to go up there and fight that damn Russian in Russia. She said, "You can't win, Rock." And Rock said, "I'm afraid. I'm afraid." All that, right? This is what Sark is dealing with right now. I'm telling you, I know I went a long way around the world, but Sark is dealing with a systemic problem in college football. He came into a program at the wrong time thinking that he should be able to dominate, and he can't because the playing field is now level. You have a quarterback that did not release any film. I think you might have gotten bamboozled by the name, but you got to go ahead, like you said, you got to go ahead and bench him and get your program back because you will be out of Texas in a minute if you don't fix this. And if you keep on starting Arch Manning, I'm not blaming Arch Manning for all this. I'm blaming everybody that's affiliated with the state of Texas, even the folks that's giving money to these people. Y'all have not done what you're supposed to do since 2006. Here we are at 2025, going to the 2026 season. We can pay people now, and you're still not there. Texas, you're better than that. You're better than that. You lost to Florida. I'm done.
Not even a good Florida team, though. You lost to this Florida team.
I'm assuming everybody understands this Florida team sucks.
Right, but at the same time, this Texas team sucks.
Right.
And I don't think that Texas, comparing them to the Texas A&M comparison that you made, is absent of talent.
It's not.
I've been in the college locker room. I think they're absent of leadership.
Yeah.
They don't got a guy they can look at and say, you know what, you're going to run through walls to get us to the championship.
Right.
Like Vanderbilt can say, we ain't got a talent, but I know our quarterback is going to do whatever it takes to succeed.
Yeah.
He might make mistakes. He might do this, but he's going to do whatever it takes to succeed. I promise you, and they're in that huddle, and they look in that quarterback's eyes of Arch Manning, and they see fear.
Fear.
You're not following that kid. So you're not tackling as hard. You're not blocking as hard. You're not being a discipline on your assignments. You're not focusing as much as you should be because of the lapse of absence you have at quarterback. And to me, in college, it's not like NFL where you can have a middle linebacker who's just the true leader of your team. You got two options. You got a head coach who's either going to be the voice of your team, or you got a quarterback who's going to be the voice of your team in college football. And those are the two guys you can follow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know on who the team is right now. Is Texas leadership. I can't say that person. Yeah. I can't even say they got like a Manti Te'o that's going to be like, you know what, we can hurrah. and get to a win. Like, no, we can't. This team is depressing. And it's because of the quarterback. And that's what it truly is. And we got to call a spade a spade.
Yep.
If that bad quarterback comes in that game starting next week, I promise you the conversation is going to be way more positive about Texas than it is. It's because of the quarterback.
Hey, yeah, it's gonna be wild, but you just stats along across the board are alarming. And Arch has the yards, the passing yards as he does because they ask him to throw the ball 30 times a game. I mean, he 16 for 29. You gonna get yards in that total. But the fact that you don't have a running back this season is a big problem. Your leading rusher out of the running back room had 11 yards.
And why is that? This is Texas.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the point. So now you don't have a running game that you can at least lean on, which means the whole entire burden, the whole entire process of success on offense is going through the quarterback. And you've got a guy right now who's maybe not confident in the team, might not be confident in the play calling. Sure enough, looks like he's not confident in himself to make throws on time. You putting yourself in a hole that you're not gonna like. And this Oklahoma team next week, and I hate to keep dipping into next week, but that's what we have to look on. You got a top, it's probably gonna be a top 20 matchup because Texas will probably slide out of the top 10. They'll still be ranked because they're Texas, but this is an Oklahoma defense that ain't gonna give you no leeway. They ain't gonna feel sorry for
Texas score more than 10 points.
Man, I'm telling you, it's gonna be bad.
I'd be truly surprised.
Oklahoma play defense. I know we ain't trying to go there, but yeah, no, this is gonna be a problem.
But real quick, going in a different route though. Real quick, going a different route. You really can't say that the Texas game plan is so far off because there's other teams in the South Carolina in the SEC that's right now like South Carolina, like LSU, like Ole Miss that don't have a true run game yet.
Yeah,
they don't have a true run game. It's not like we got running backs that just based on other places we've had in the history of SEC. We don't have that right now. So to me,
but you got leaders on those teams.
Right, I think we have other dependable quarterbacks that we're seeing right now that can really make defenses back up off the offensive line and defend pass game.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, you're dead in college football. You are dead in college football if you don't have that. You either got to have a quarterback that can run for 70 plus or a quarterback that can dash you for 250.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground. Or you L'ing up, or you got a lot of L's on your plate.
For sure. Then you look at after Oklahoma though, you got to go on the road to Kentucky. You'll probably win. And then you got to go to a feisty Mississippi State team on the road in Starkville.
Might lose that.
So I mean, look, and then after that, that's when your gauntlet starts. You got Vandy, Georgia, Arkansas, A&M. After that, what are you looking at? You looking at maybe 3 more wins this year after just making the playoffs last season?
But look, big picture though, what is a Texas team that's got 4 L's?
Yeah. A team that's looking for
what happened this year.
Outside of a bowl game L. I'm talking about regular season losses.
It'll be this year.
That's looking for a new head coach. That's for Texas is the type. If you ain't got time to screw around when you are the head coach at University of Texas down there in Austin.
They got money. Give them Kentucky. Give them Mississippi State by a field goal.
They got 3 more problems.
I think they're losing to Vandy. They're losing to Georgia, and they're losing to Texas A&M.
Yep, Arkansas is a court. You have 3 possible wins left. Looking at the team that played, to get to a bowl game, and then even that, we don't know how the new Arkansas gonna look after the coup that happened over there to get they head coach out. Because I'll be damned if I believe that was on play. Hey, that man got into an offensive coordinator position and sabotaged that man and say, I'm getting my head coaching job back. I swear that's what happened. But you don't know how that team's gonna look. Mississippi State this season is not a gimme win. Don't get into a close slugfest with them. Kentucky should be a gimme win, but everybody else, they gonna smack you. They gonna come smack you in your face, take your lunch money, take your lunch, and send you on your way back home. Go back to the locker room. The way you looked on Saturday, that's how the rest of the SEC is looking at you. Like, oh yeah, we ain't gotta worry about you. We gonna come show you, put you in your place, get ourselves a win, go get some good barbecue, and we be gonna beat you.
It might be worse than Saturday because Saturday was the first real test of like an SEC team.
Sad day, man.
Rivalry. This is a whole nother ball game.
Sad day.
I'm telling you. Hey, any other games stick out to y'all just as a review from last week or any
No,
other top?
I mean, it was kind of shocking that I wasn't shocked that Nico was able to get Penn State. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't think Penn State had anything. I didn't think they had anything. I'm sorry, UCLA. But
Right.
but the game they played this weekend, I don't know if it was because they was at home or I don't know, but they looked like a really good team, and Penn State looked very pedestrian. But I wasn't surprised though because this is what James Franklin does a lot of
Game
times.
Frank.
You know what I'm
Big
saying?
Game Frank.
He don't get up for big games.
Right.
So, you know, I don't know. Ain't worth talking about for real. But
I'll say this real quick about the Nico situation. I don't know how the rest of the season gonna look, but it's one of those games. If your camp can stay quiet, you're gonna get looks off that game.
Yeah.
Right.
He balled the hell out in a game situation where you had nothing else to lose but to go out there and ball out.
He was the leading rusher in the game.
But man, if you watched him any other game this season, the RPO with him is ridiculous.
The man had
The last game with Texas, even last year with Tennessee, when he's running the ball, it's really a different dynamic.
Yeah.
But he's so slender and so tall, you don't see him run the ball that effective.
Yeah.
But when he gets downhill, bro, I promise you, he'll sauce you up. He'll run for extra yards. He'll run through you. He's a dynamic playmaker at the quarterback position. It's more of just can you get him to act straight consistently. He's just not consistent yet. But I promise you, with the coaching staff, whoever was in charge before that game, and the guy now, he's going to be different for the rest of the season. I don't know if they're going to get upset.
Yeah, I like him.
When I saw him go to UCLA, I said there's going to be one game he's going to upset that season, and I think he got it. But I don't see them giving anybody else no true fits. But you can throw that tape on, and any offensive coordinator in the country would be like, you know what? If I had that guy on my team, I can win some games with him.
And I also think, you know, I had to remember that UCLA and USC are in the Big Ten now.
Yeah.
Well, it was said during the broadcast, the travel, and then they broke it down. I was like, okay, Penn State had to basically come from the East Coast to the West Coast, but listen, that shouldn't be no excuse. You should be able to, y'all travel team, whoever handles y'all's travel and whatever should figure that out. But I can see where that could have been a little bit of a problem for a team that didn't have a travel department like Penn State should have, because y'all should know now, all y'all gonna be out to the West Coast a couple times a year, or at least once a year.
James Franklin tried to allude to that in his interview after the game. We're trying to say that we failed at getting prepared for the game. We failed at traveling for the game. We failed at all this other stuff like that. And it was kind of a situation of, I could hear that against like an Ohio State.
Right. That's BS against UCLA.
That's BS against UCLA.
Right. I don't care.
Film on UCLA. You should have been laughing at what was on film.
Penn State should have been able to should have woke up at 3:00 in the morning on a random Wednesday, and they should have said, "Hey, UCLA is in your backyard right now. They're ready to play." They should have been able to wake them kids up, all of them, to got a glass of water and had a biscuit and gone and beaten UCLA's ass.
And the thing is, the funny thing about the whole game was, I wanted to see Nico win. I want to see him succeed, but I thought the first time play caller, the interim head coach, was shot himself in the foot. Like, you had the perfect whole momentum. And he gets on that interview and says, "This is my first time ever calling plays. You know, I just happened to beat UCLA. I just happened to beat Penn State." I'm like, man, what? Like, shut up sometimes. You know what? Just say, you know what? I called a perfect game. I got the talent to do stuff like that and move forward. But he was so happy.
That dude with hype, man. Dude with hype. There was nobody in the stands. Listen, there was nobody in the stands. Harrison said, "This is a real game." I like, yeah, it is. It's a real game. The stands, there was like a person here and a person here and a person here. There wasn't no clump of fans nowhere.
Man,
terrible.
Hilarious.
It's terrible. And they lost. And Penn State lost.
But at the same time, it's like, Sean, you made a comparison about SEC and the Big Ten. The only team you can talk about in the Big Ten is Ohio State right now.
That's basically it. At the top. At the way top.
You might say Michigan might have a strong push to the late half of their season, but to me, I don't think Oregon is a big-time team yet.
They ain't done nothing yet.
Right. And I think beating Penn State just proved this last weekend and ain't doing nothing.
Right.
So it's like they got a couple more tests, but I think you got Oregon, Ohio State top of that conference. But I still think, to me, the top 5 SEC teams could really handle Big Ten teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
It would be good.
It'll
5-2.
be good football. It'll be real good
It
football.
would be good. It would be good. It'd be real
Okay,
good.
last question for y'all. How serious are y'all taking Miami at this point in time?
I don't
I
really take
watched it. Yeah, I watched them play, but I still don't know who Florida State is, and I'm jaded because
Yeah.
we don't know who Bama is, right? You know, we do have some comparable head-to-head type conversation we can have. They don't look bad. They don't look bad. I don't know if I'm sold on Cristobal yet. You know what I'm saying? He's dropped plenty of games.
I like the defense. I'll say that about anything about the team. I like the defense, and I like that true freshman they got. I forgot the man's name. I really meant to write that down, but
10?
Yes, sir. He's a dog.
Yeah.
Dog. Like, put the ball in his hands, he might go for 230.
Yeah.
Type of guy. Like, I'm like speed, breakaway speed, shifting his hands, all of it on the offense. But man, at certain times I just look at Carson Beck and I just see him make certain mistakes. And I'm like, in the ACC, you can make those mistakes and live to another day.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the type of mistakes that got you tossed out of the SEC.
Correct.
Yeah. So cool, you can be the type of guy to be like, we coast most of the season, get to that first playoff game, and get blowed out.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would not be shocked about that situation right there for Miami.
Yep. And you know, Miami is in the ACC, to your point, Drew. And while they look good right now, look who they're playing. We don't know what Florida State really is.
Yeah.
As this season goes on, you know, Gus Malzahn's offense is something that you can figure out. And I see Florida State with a couple more losses this season, even to inferior opponents in regard to talent, because the offense is what it is. Right. But I'm not knocking it. What I'm saying is it's hard to prepare for game one for anybody. Gus Malzahn with some talent, but Miami,
a whole new regime like Florida State had.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, right? Everything was new. You just didn't really know how to prepare, but now I think folks are kind of figuring them out a little bit. You'll start to see them slow down a little bit. That's going to hurt teams like Alabama or anyone else that has beaten Florida State as far as their case is concerned. But Carson Beck, Miami will run into their issues in the playoff. Probably not the first round, but we'll see them fold when they meet a team that matches them talent-wise. But they're going to be the talk of the town. They'll probably end up being the number one team in the country from here. But between them and Ohio State, they'll be 1 and 2 somewhere all the way through to the end. But you'll see Miami end up getting clipped earlier in the playoffs because they just didn't really have a slate of conference games to play that really tested them enough to warrant them to feel like they could play a game against a tough team on a neutral site and win, you know.
Put Clemson at their height, peak of their realm. This is what Miami is.
Right.
You're going to have a lot of talent in the regular season, but when it comes to big-time games, we're always questioning, can you win those games?
Yeah.
We're not going to know until we see it. But beating the Florida State, to me, was never going to be like you're a national championship type of campaign.
Yeah.
But the way you beat Florida State made me truly question Miami more than question anybody else. Because I was like, there was a lot of times in that game where I thought Miami was just going to take it away.
Mm-hmm.
It was like you always gave them a chance to get back in. You always gave them a chance to get back in. That's ACC football.
Yeah.
But there's going to be times and there's going to be teams that you might face a Big Ten team or SEC team, and they're going to be like more opportunistic about getting opportunities and controlling tempo and controlling the game.
That's right.
Like it's something that Miami's not going to really understand because it is who you're playing against until you get to big time football, which it's a coin toss when you really get to that point in the season. But it's going to be interesting to see patterns and factors that fall into it.
Very much so.
Yeah. Well, all right. Hey, well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Look out for us. We'll have a couple videos coming out this week. Until then, we'll catch you.
Yes, sir. Good to see y'all.
Welcome to Cocktober.
Cocktober!